All right, today we're going to talk about The Alchemist and some excerpts from it that stuck out to me that I found really impactful. So if you haven't read it, spoilers ahead, I do highly recommend you read it because it teaches you a lot about your personal journey, your personal legend, it says in the book, and why taking a chance on figuring it out is so important. And it's basically your duty to fulfill that in your life. One of the first excerpts that sticks out to me the most is shortly after the main character, the boy, sells his sheep, sells his past life, and starts on his journey. He's essentially homeless at this point. He's far from home. He doesn't have a place to sleep, and he's sleeping on the ground, literally. But the excerpt goes, looking around, he saw his sheep, and then he realized he was in a new world. But instead of being saddened, he was happy. He no longer had to seek out food and water for his sheep. He could go in search of his treasure instead. This is a short little quick sentence, but very impactful to me because it expresses the idea of gratitude. And I know I talk about gratitude all day on here, but it's important because as opposed to thinking in the middle of your journey, right, before you've received your treasure or whatever it is that you're looking for, you have every reason to feel like shit, to feel like you made the wrong mistake, to do all these things, to, feel like what you're doing is just not right. But in these moments, it's most important for you to sit with the gratitude and feel grateful for what you do have, right? You can't focus on what you've lost, what happened in the past, all of this stuff. You can only focus on what you're doing and what you have right now. And that excerpt does a really good job at explaining it. The next one is the closer one gets to realizing his personal legend, the more that personal legend becomes his true reason for being. So this one really hit me hard, especially coming from somebody that is, or at least I feel like I'm in the middle of my personal legend. And being in your personal legend hadn't really become apparent to me until this journey in Rome, where I feel like everything I was doing before was just not even close to aligned with me. I mean school, I mean the job that I had, I feel like it wasn't even close to what I wanted to be doing. And I'm not saying what I'm doing now in terms of making YouTube videos and building this business is exactly pinpoint right on what I want to do, but it certainly is a gigantic stride towards it. So this stuck out to me because I feel like what I'm doing now is my true reason for being, is on the path to fulfilling my personal legend. And maybe it took those past experiences to realize that. So I don't regret it by any means. And I'm actually very, very grateful for them, those past experiences for many reasons. But once you start to align with really what you want to do in life, it becomes obvious that you were meant to do it, right? That's your purpose for being. So that's what I really like about that excerpt specifically. And then this is another one that kind of relates to the first one that I read, because I don't live in either my past or my future. I'm interested only in the present. If you can concentrate always on the present, you'll be a happy man. It kind of speaks for itself there. If you can only focus on the present, you will be a happy man. Similarly to the first excerpt, if the boy, the main character, was focused on his loss of a job, loss of sheep that he was hurting, he would have been unhappy. He would have been sad focusing on those things. But instead he focused on the present moment and what he did have and what he was working towards. And that made him happy. That was a change of perspective for him to be happy towards those things. Then the last one I'll read, arguably the most impactful one, is my heart is afraid that it will have to suffer. This is the main character telling the alchemist. And the alchemist says, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams. That one really hits hard because one, it's the idea of being fearful towards pursuing your goals. The fear of pursuing your goals is often worse than actually just pursuing them. People get so up in their head about taking on new challenges and doing all these new things that they're unfamiliar with, but that's really your brain's natural mechanism to prevent you from being in discomfort. But little do many people know that discomfort is such a strong catalyst for growth, and that if they just let go of this idea of fear, then the possibilities of what they can do would be endless. And I'm one to talk. I still am fearful of doing certain things. It's just natural, a natural reaction of my brain, I guess, but not an excuse. It's just saying. But if you can learn to grow out of this fear and really just pursue what you want to do, the possibilities of what you are capable of are endless. I promise you. And on top of that, no heart has ever suffered when it goes on the path that aligns with its dreams. That's very impactful, because if you know you want to do something, you know it's what you're meant to do, and you feel like it aligns with all the values you have, the purpose of your life, then you will not suffer on that path. You should just go on it, try it. If it doesn't work out, then you can always stop. But just give it a shot. The Alchemist is a great book. It teaches you a lot about your personal legend and the things that it takes to fulfill it. And the concepts we talked about today, not being fearful, being present in the moment, and being grateful for what you have. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It took me about a week to read it, and I'm not like a huge reader or anything. So I do highly recommend it. It can teach you a lot. And thank you for watching.